11th round of the talks between the government and the farmers ends without breakthrough. The government stated that putting laws on hold for 18 months was the best that the government could offer. The meeting ended without any decision on the next round of talks. Digging in the heels, Agricultural Minister Narendra Singh Tomar thanked the farmers for participating in the talks, urged them to reconsider government's offer. Remember, on Wednesday during the 10th round of talks, the government had offered the farmers that laws will be suspended for the next 18 months. Farmers are adamant that they won't compromise for anything less than a complete rollback.
लोकतंत्र में सहमति और असहमति स्वाभाविक है और मैंने आज सहमत लोगों को और सहमत नहीं जो हैं उन सबको अपनी ओर से आभार प्रकट किया है चर्चा को सार्थक और सौहार्द बनाए रखने के लिए। सरकार को इंतजार इस बात का है कि अगर किसान के हित में विचार करने वाले लोग हैं तो हमारे प्रस्ताव पर जरूर विचार करेंगे और कार्रवाई को आगे बढ़ाएंगे। इस आंदोलन के दौरान लगातार यह कोशिश हुई कि जनता के बीच में और किसानों के बीच में गलतफहमियां फैलें और उन गलतफहमियों का फ़ायदा उठाकर कुछ ऐसे लोग जो हर अच्छे काम का विरोध करने के आदी हो चुके हैं वो किसानों के कंधे का इस्तेमाल अपने राजनीतिक हितों के लिए कर सकें। इस आधार पर यह परिस्थिति बनी।
बातचीत ये हुई कि जो उनको पहला प्रस्ताव था उनने कहा कि हमारा वही है और आप अगर इस पर तैयार हो और घटा बढ़ा सकते हैं दिनों को, भाई 1.5 साल की जगह 2 हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा, मतलब ये एक उनकी तरफ से आया है, मतलब 2 साल तक वो कर सकते हैं और कोई इस पर तैयार हो तो हम बैठ के कल बात कर सकते हैं, नहीं अगर तैयार हो तो नहीं कर सकते। ये
लोगों ने क्या कहा?
हमने कुछ नहीं, हम बता दें कल हमें जरूरत होगी तो आपको बता देंगे।
Let's quickly cut across to our reporter joining us live, Rahul Srivastava, who's been tracking all the developments, the farmer and the centre's talks for the 11th round. Rahul, if you can take us through what went by at that meeting today. It almost looked like a final goodbye that the agricultural minister said to the farmers by thanking them for participating in talks and finally saying reconsider if you can, but that's the max that we can offer.
Nabila, these are sights and sounds of a breakdown. It was very clear since the morning that the farmers, having not conveyed a decision of rejecting the proposal from the government that the laws can be put on hold for a period of 1 year, 1.5 years, publicly announcing a rejection yesterday, then bringing their decision to the meeting, it was very clear that the farmers have drawn a line. They are remaining unrelenting. And in that scenario, the government's view and assessment was that there is not much that the talks can proceed, given the kind of standard now. And that is why in the morning, afternoon, when the meeting started at 12, believe it or not, the meeting took place actually for 18 minutes. And after 18 minutes, the two sides retired into different chambers and were holding discussions among themselves. For nearly 2.5 hours, there was virtually no discussion. Sometime around 3:30 in the afternoon, they got back again. And while the talks were on, the minister wasn't there. Then when the minister came in, he made a 4 to 5 line statement in which he made very clear that it's the best the government can offer. Talks, he wants to thank the farmers for the talks. In case they want to talk further, they can convey to him tomorrow. Vigyan Bhavan may not be available for talks. Remember, most of the talks, 9 of them have held in Vigyan Bhavan till now. And he said that that's all. And after that, he left the meeting. That was a very clear sign that one, that the government was hanging up its gloves as far as negotiations actively on the current conditions are concerned. Second, the government is not ready to let the farmers dictate the talks. It wants the talks to continue on its conditions now, that the government is only ready to hold the bills for a while, not repealing. And from here on, it's very clear if the farmers do not want discussion on these proposals of the government, there could well be no talks. And that's not does not augur very well.
Right.
Because on the 26th of January, the farmers are planning to take out a tractor rally.
And all eyes are on that tractor rally.
of a virtual breakdown of talks.
Absolutely, Rahul. All eyes on the tractor rally on the 26th of Jan. The farmers are going to be carrying it out within Delhi. In fact, the Delhi police's request to carry it outside of Delhi has also been rejected by the farmers. All eyes on 26th of Jan. Thank you very much, Rahul, for joining us with those details. Moving on next, the exodus from Mamata Banerjee's cabinet there continues. In a major setback for the Bengal Chief Minister, Bengal Forest Minister Rajiv Banerjee now resigned from his post despite several rounds of talks. Speaking to reporter after resigning, Rajiv said that he was shunted out as Irrigation Minister and no one informed him. He also went on to meet the West Bengal governor to submit his resignation. He is the third minister to resign from Mamata's cabinet. 2 days ago, former TMC leader Arindam Bhattacharya joined the BJP. Suvendu Adhikari, a former TMC heavyweight, a close confidant of Mamata Banerjee, was recently inducted by Amit Shah at a mega rally. Rajiv's resignation comes a day before Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to West Bengal to mark Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's 125th birth anniversary at Kolkata's Victoria Memorial. Home Minister Amit Shah is also to be at West Bengal on a 2-day visit from Jan 30th.
আমি আবার বলছি যে আমি মানুষের জন্য কাজ করতে চাই এবং আজকে হয়তো আমার অত্যন্ত আমার হৃদয় সত্যি আজকে ব্যথিত যে আমি কোনোদিনও ভাবিনি যে আমাকে এই রকম একটা কঠিন সিদ্ধান্ত নিতে হবে কিন্তু আমি নিয়েছি যদি কোথাও কোনো কারোর কোথাও আঘাত দিয়ে থাকি যদি কাউকে কোথাও কোনোভাবে যদি কোথাও কাউকে দুঃখ দিয়ে থাকি আমি নিশ্চিতভাবে সবার কাছে হাত জোড় করে আমি মার্জনা চাইছি দয়া করে আমায় কেউ ভুল বুঝবেন না আমি সত্যি অত্যন্ত মনে প্রাণে ভীষণভাবে আমি আহত হচ্ছিলাম সেই আঘাত আমি নিতে পারছিলাম না
राजीव बनर्जी एक अच्छे प्रतिष्ठित परिवार के उन राजनीतिक परिवार के व्यक्ति हैं वो समाज के बारे में सोचते हैं ईमानदार राजनीतिक कार्यकर्ता हैं और इसीलिए उन्होंने बहुत इस्तीफा दिया और बड़ी भावुकता में मैंने उनका टीवी पे इंटरव्यू देखा वो काफ़ी भावुक भी हो गए थे कि जिस पार्टी के लिए उन्होंने अपना जीवन दिया उस पार्टी को मैं छोड़ रहा हूं क्योंकि मेरे पास काम करने का अवसर नहीं ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग हैं टीएमसी के अंदर जिनको काम करने का अवसर नहीं है लोग डरते हैं कि छोड़ने के बाद हम पे केस हो जाएंगे अर्जुन सिंह के ऊपर 100 केस हो गए मुकुलदा के ऊपर 60 केस हो गए मेरे ऊपर 20 केस हैं तो ऐसे केस पुलिस का उपयोग करती है ममता जी तो लोग डरते आते नहीं जिस दिन आचार संहिता लगेगी आप देखना कितने लोग टीएमसी छोड़ते हैं
And moving up next, in a major confidence booster for India's mega COVID vaccination program, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today interacted with beneficiaries and vaccinators in Varanasi. By interacting first-hand with those who have already taken the shots, the Prime Minister tried to lay all vaccine-related fears to rest, taking on critics and doubters. Prime Minister assured once again that the Made in India vaccines are safe. He also slammed rumour mongers and urged the citizens to have faith in the country's scientists and experts. So far, nearly 10.5 lakh people have been vaccinated in the first 6 days of the nationwide COVID-19 vaccination drive in the country. But there has been a low turnout among healthcare workers stepping up to take the vaccine in cities. Citizens, however, are eager to take the shot. According to India Today Karvi Institute Mood of the Nation poll survey, 76% of respondents were willing to take the vaccine against 21% who said no to the jab.
इतने लंबे समय की कठिन प्रक्रियाएं और वैज्ञानिक जांच पड़ताल के बाद अब जब वैक्सीन आई है तो सबसे पहले मैं सभी स्वास्थ्य जगत से जुड़े लोग जिनको हमने प्रायोरिटी दी है कुछ लोग मेरे से नाराज भी हो रहे हैं कि साहब हमारे लिए जल्दी शुरू करो लेकिन मेरा मत है कि सबसे पहले आप लोगों का हो जाए और जितना तेजी से हो जाए उतना चिंता कीजिए और इसको आगे बढ़ाइए कई चरणों में ये तय किया गया है कि वैक्सीन का कोई बड़ा साइड इफेक्ट नहीं है तपास किया गया है इसलिए देशवासी अपने वैज्ञानिक पर डॉक्टर्स पर भरोसा कर रहे हैं
And moving up next, the Serum Institute of India, the situation there seems to be under control. Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray along with senior ministers and officials visited the institute in Pune, which caught fire yesterday, leading to the death of 5 contractual labourers. Serum Institute of India CEO Adar Poonawalla expressing sadness over the loss of life, assured that the mishap hasn't in any way affected the vaccine making capacity. All 5 deceased were working at the under construction building number 3 of the Special Economic Zone when the fire broke out at around 2:45 p.m. yesterday. Fire brigade officials rushed to the spot, were able to rescue 6 people. It took around 3 to 4 hours for them to douse the fire. An audit of the entire building will be carried out and the case will be ascertained. As what really caused that fire outbreak, that's yet to be known. Serum Institute has now announced 25 lakh compensation to families of deceased.
These were new buildings. This was a new building with the new product, additional product capacities being made, supposed to be made in the future. These new filling lines and bulk production lines were under installation. This was a brand new facility. That's why, perhaps this incident happened whilst installation and other things were going on, and no actual vaccine was being made there at the time. It was for the future. So the loss is for the future now, which we'll make up through other buildings and facilities.
और क्या काम कर रहे थे
सर एसी इंस्टॉलेशन का?
कौन से फ्लोर पे?
M3 में, 3rd फ्लोर में।
कितने लोग थे आप?
8 लोग थे, 6 लोग निकल आए कूद के, 2 लोग वहीं पर रह गए।
थे वहाँ पर?
हाँ सर, वहीं पर थे।
क्या देखा आपने उधर?
सर आग निकली, वहाँ पर बहुत धुआं हो रहा था।
After the fire broke out at approximately 2:30 to 3 p.m. yesterday, the first priority was to rescue and douse the fire. The operation is still going on. We have found 5 dead bodies. The AD has been registered. We have registered an accidental fire also. We are taking statements of the various witnesses and people on the spot. And as soon as the fire brigade gives us go ahead, then we will start the investigation at the spot, and then only we can come to any conclusion what was there. All aspect will be looked into.
5 लोग वहाँ पे आपको मिले जो कि अंत्यावस्था में थे। उनकी हालत कैसी थी? उनकी मौत की वजह आग है या फिर धुआं जिससे उनका दम घुट गया?
डेफिनेटली सफोकेशन के हो सकता है, क्योंकि जिस तरह की धुएं की मात्रा हम लोग देख रहे थे दूर से भी, तो वो इतनी बड़ी थी लपटे। अगर आप शूटिंग में भी देखें तो आपको समझ में आएगा। तो इतना अगर धुआं है तो उसको सही मात्रा में सफोकेशन ही हम बता सकते हैं।
Moving on to VK Sasikala's health update. She is undergoing treatment at Bengaluru's Victoria Hospital after she tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. Sources have told India Today that Jayalalitha's aide, Sasikala, might be shifted to Manipal Hospital. Final decision is yet to be taken. However, doctors at Victoria Hospital have said that she is totally fine and there was no need to believe in rumours. Earlier, Sasikala had tested negative in her first RT-PCR test. However, her CT scan reports showed COVID symptoms. Sasikala there, Jayalalitha's aide, then tested positive in her second RT-PCR test. As precautionary measure, she has been put under observation. Remember, Chinnamma, as she is popularly known as, is supposed to be released from on the 27th of Jan. She's been serving jail term in a disproportionate assets case.
Dr. Nagarjun from India Today here.
Okay, can I talk to you a little later?
Ma'am, just want to check how critical is she, ma'am, right now?
No, she's fine. She's fine. Who is circulating these rumors?
Oh, she's fine.
Ma'am is doing fine. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
We have some big breaking news coming in. Victoria Hospital has released Sasikala's latest health bulletin, and according to the health bulletin released by the hospital, Sasikala is conscious and well-oriented. Remember, this comes as reports suggested that she was quite serious. The COVID symptoms were severe. She was admitted to the ICU. Now we get a health bulletin from Victoria Hospital. Victoria Hospital says that Sasikala is absolutely well. She's conscious and well-oriented. Reports coming in on Sasikala's health. She's stable. That's the report that we get here from Victoria Hospital, who's just released a health bulletin on Sasikala's health, saying that she's absolutely fine. She's conscious and well-oriented. Remember, Sasikala was reported to be serious. She was rushed to the ICU when her oxygen saturation levels had dipped. She was not doing too well. In fact, she was in the ICU even when she was in the regular ward. She was rushed to the ICU twice at the Bowring Hospital. She was released and then back into Victoria Hospital. A lot of speculation about her COVID reports. Initially, it showed negative and then showed positive. She's right now doing all right. The Victoria Hospital says she's stable, conscious, well-oriented. A quick dip into what's happening in Bollywood with Varun Dhawan now finally tying the knot with his lady love. Let's take a look at this wedding, the shosha around it, the season that began now in 2021. Here's the inside details into this cozy wedding.
It's a new year and new beginnings for Varun Dhawan as the actor is finally tying the knot with his longtime girlfriend Natasha Dalal. Varun Dhawan's wedding has been quite the topic of conversation for fans, and finally putting an end to all the speculations, Varun's uncle and veteran actor Anil Dhawan confirmed that he is marrying Natasha Dalal on the 24th of January. As Varun Dhawan and Natasha's wedding day draws near, the bride-to-be was spotted leaving her house for the wedding venue in Alibag. A few staff members were also spotted carrying large bags, which probably contained Natasha's wedding outfit, and putting them in cars. Reportedly, David Dhawan has requested the star working at the wedding venue to avoid using their cell phones so that videos and pictures from the wedding festivities is not leaked online. Varun Dhawan and his family were later spotted with Natasha at the Majgaon dock leaving for Alibag. Alibag is a mere 20-minute boat ride from Mumbai, and the resort saw a flurry of guests arrive for the impending wedding festivities. Apart from family friends, Varun Dhawan's parents David and Lali Dhawan arrived at the venue in a black car. According to reports, Varun and Natasha will tie the knot in Alibag in a private ceremony at a luxurious resort called the Mansion House, including Shah Rukh Khan, Karan Johar and Salman Khan, among others. The accommodation for all guests has reportedly been done in 3 different villas. While nothing has been officially confirmed by any other family member, including father David Dhawan or brother Rohit Dhawan, Varun Dhawan's mother Lali Dhawan was spotted at a salon in Mumbai, while his brother Rohit and wife Janvi visited the Manish Malhotra store. In fact, the 3-day-long wedding festivities have reportedly begun, with the chunni ceremony scheduled at Natasha's home on the 21st of January. This is a Punjabi wedding ritual where the groom's family visits the bride's home and gives her the wedding outfit, bridal chunni, and later the elders bless the couple. The marriage was originally planned for May 2020, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown, it was pushed to 2021. Varun and Natasha have always been quite open about their relationship, from posting together for the Shutterbucks to professing their love for each other on social media and even vacationing together. They have always worn their heart on their sleeves. For the uninitiated, Natasha went to the same school as Varun Dhawan, and they have known each other and their respective parents way before he became an actor. Reports arrived that after the wedding, the couple's honeymoon will have to wait, as Varun will jet off to Arunachal Pradesh to begin the shooting for his upcoming film Bhediya with Kriti Sanon. And we think that his wife Natasha may just accompany him for the same to the stunning state. Entertainment Bureau, India Today.